Tech, talk, tunes, tech info, hacking, jamming on music, brought to you by Kevin King. Let's get started. There is intrigue at Kaspersky Labs. Kaspersky, they have been banned by the United States government. They're struggling to regain their reputation. But let's see what happened with Kaspersky Labs as we begin this exploration into intrigue at Kaspersky Lab. So what happened with Kaspersky is they were banned by the United States government. They've been officially banned for the use of their security software in all of its federal agencies. And why is it? Because they have come under suspicion for cyber espionage. That's right, spying on the United States and other countries. And this is because of the purported ties to the Russian government and the Russian intelligence agencies that Kaspersky has. And as you know, there's a lot of intrigue going on in the United States with the Russians. Are they the ones doing the elections? What's going on with the Russians? Well, we have found that there is trouble with Kaspersky. Now, how did we get here? You know, this actually all started in 2014. In 2014, Kaspersky stumbled upon, according to what they say, some software that was on a user's computer. It stumbled on the code in 2014. There was a consumer version of its software. There was a file that was zipped using 7-zip protocols on a user's computer, and that was flagged as potential malware. And while reviewing the contents, an analyst at Kaspersky found that the source code for the file came from the hacker group called the Equation Group. The Equation Group, which is purportedly the NSA themselves. The software was removed and was reported to the CEO of Kaspersky Labs, who eventually, upon review, said, you know what? This stuff is bad. We need to get rid of all of it. And they promptly proceeded to delete all of the evidence, all the files from all of their systems on all of their servers because of the level of software that it was. Now, what they did is they promptly, a year later, reported this as happening. But in the meantime, we go back to 2014 when it was all happening. Kaspersky reported this in 2015, but in 2014, while it was all happening, Israel, who is home to the world's second largest Silicon Valley collection of hackers and software engineers, they were actually hacking into Kaspersky Labs. And while they hacked into Kaspersky Labs, they found that while Kaspersky was looking into these tools that they found on this computer, by the way, the activities of this user were pretty audacious in terms of their level of, shall we say, stupidity. This user who was on the network with classified tools had Trojans on their computer using an off-the-shelf home version of Kaspersky to scan, later uninstalling and then reinstalling Kaspersky and scanning again. The tools from Kaspersky finding the Trojans and backdoors installed, and the tools that were used in the zip folder on this user's computer, Kaspersky Labs finding it. And when stuff like that is flagged, guess where it goes very often? It goes right back to the malware company to be analyzed. So if this guy was a NSA operative or some other type of operative, he was not doing a good job of protecting his computer. Either way, while all that intrigue was going on with Kaspersky, Israel had hacked into the Kaspersky network, and they had observed that while Kaspersky was dealing with this, and with many other things, that Russian hackers had taken over a good portion of the Kaspersky network and were using them to run specific scans for tools like this created by the NSA, the Equation Group, and other shadow groups that are purported to work for the NSA or be part of the NSA or be opposed to the NSA. They're looking for this type of information as they scanned using Kaspersky's network. Well, Israel reported this to their allies in the United States to let them know that, yo, there's something up with Kaspersky. And so while the spies were inside the system, they saw the Russian spies. And this really answers some of the questions about this Kaspersky lab unfolding saga. And so we see that all the way from the time of 1997 all the way through to 2015, the tools that have been demonstrated and used in various hacking exploits have been discovered. Well, Kaspersky says, "It ain't my fault, bro," or they might say more likely, this was not the fault of the Kaspersky. Rather, they're saying that they deny the accusations, and they say that they have no ties that are inappropriate ties to their government. And so they are saying these are false allegations, and they're being treated unfairly, and they've never helped the Russian government. Never. So they claim it's not their fault, and that it's a series of mishaps that may have occurred, but that they have not colluded with the Russian government. And they don't dispute. Kaspersky Labs does not dispute that discovered these hacking tools on the computer of a user that was using one of their consumer antivirus products, but it laid out a timeline that there were multiple security errors on the part of the user. And they say this user was NSA. They were a contractor for NSA. So they claim that it was not their fault. And according to the report that Kaspersky themselves put out, the contractor was using their antivirus software and it detected the malware. The malware was attributed to the Equation Group, which is an NSA hacking team reportedly. And some say that the contractor apparently disabled the antivirus software. And by the way, if you are using hacking tools, for those of you who are in the hacker community, you know you have to disable your antivirus software or you have to take the folder that contains most of your tools and exclude that from the antivirus software scans. And if somehow that folder comes out from exclusion, like for instance it's moved or a drive is plugged in, for instance, a flash drive, then guess what? Your antivirus scans that and flags it. And if it is very odd malware, it ends up in the hands of the antivirus organization. So that's a possibility there. Kaspersky consumer antivirus software, they've won high marks from reviewers over time, and Kaspersky Labs has put out some really, really good stuff in terms of tracking malware and hacking and so on. And they have gone so far to try to redeem their reputation, has gone so far as to submit the source code of their products and future products for inspection by independent parties who may be able to determine if there's been any tampering by Russian government officials. Now, I want to say something about Kaspersky and other software. Just like real estate, there are three things that you need to keep in mind when looking at antivirus software, and one of those is location. The other one is location. The third one is location. Where is the maker of your antivirus software located? Now, in terms of Mother Russia, the Russian government exercises tight control over domestic and foreign high-tech industries operating within its borders. And it is possible that they can mandate certain backdoors into software products. So whenever you use a software product, especially an antivirus product, ask yourself, where did this come from? Does the country from which this product originates embrace the ideals of democracy and freedom? Can somebody create a software product without checking in with the government and then the government saying, you must put this code into your software? So look at just a few here. We have AnLab, which was created in South Korea, Czech Republic for Avast and AVG. Avira is Germany, yeah. And then we have Bitdefender out in Romania, Checkpoint in Israel, United States also works with Checkpoint. Clamwin is Australia, mate. And you know those Australians. They have a pretty good sense of democracy and freedom in Australia, so I wouldn't worry about Clamwin. But there may be others that I would worry about. So check to see where your antivirus software comes from. Head on over to wikipedia.org. See at the little link at the bottom there. It's not clickable, so you'll have to pause it and write it down and just search for it online and see where your software came from, your antivirus software. And if your antivirus software is from China, Russia, or if you have the Office suite and antivirus suite that was created in North Korea, you might want to think twice. All right, so this has been Intrigue at Kaspersky Lab, and I hope you have a great time scanning for the viruses that I just left on your computer.